It's Thursday, October 24th, right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Bianca Bono outside Betty Fairfax High School in Phoenix, where school officials are receiving criticism for how they handled a report of a gun at their homecoming dance last weekend.
I'm Gabriella Becerra in the newsroom. Millions of dollars are being wagered on the outcome of the 2024 presidential election. Coming up, an analyst tells us how those odds compare to the polls.
Also ahead, police make an arrest in the case of a fire that damaged nearly 24 ballots inside a Central Phoenix mailbox.
We have one more triple-digit day to get through this weekend before more fall-like temps return next week.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
And we begin tonight in South Phoenix, where a high school community is discussing a disturbing incident that happened at a school dance last weekend. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Caribe Divine.
And I'm Troy Hayden. Mark's off tonight. A report of a gun at Betty Fairfax High School's homecoming dance led to chaos on campus.
And students are raising red flags about a lack of communication and are now calling for change. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono spoke to one of those students.
I talked to a high school senior who's in student government and helped plan this homecoming dance. She said what started as a fun and exciting night ended in fear and panic due to a lack of communication.
A lot of people around me were crying and very upset.
Betty Fairfax High School senior Isabel Cardenas recalling the chaos that unfolded Saturday night.
I feel like it's important that you guys hear from students too.
She said the information shared about the high school's homecoming dance sent out by school leaders and police doesn't tell the full story.
A lot of adults don't feel like we have the right to speak on things like this when it happened.
Cardenas said she arrived at the dance around 8 o'clock, and less than 30 minutes later, when she and her friends went to put their shoes away because their feet were getting tired from dancing, security wouldn't let them leave the gym.
Not only just keeping us in, but also ushering other people in that were maybe in the bathroom.
Students looking out windows to see Phoenix police. They were responding to reports of a person with a gun.
I definitely think that people did think that there was an active shooter.
Panic ensued.
People started screaming and running, and people had run out of some of the gym doors.
She says scared students still inside were left in the dark, figuratively and literally.
We don't know why the music turned off, why people were screaming, just the rumors about what had happened. And then police come in with their rifles drawn.
Police say they were directed to 2 male juveniles outside the dance. They were detained and were not armed. Police say they were then told about a 3rd juvenile, possibly with a gun. When police attempted to detain him, officials say he became combative and resistant, resulting in an officer using a taser. A gun was never found.
We haven't been given any information whatsoever.
The lack of communication is what's most concerning to Cardenas. The following day, the school's principal sent out a letter to families looking to dispel rumors.
Still on Thursday, we don't know exactly what happened.
The high school holding a private meeting for students and parents Thursday. Cardenas hopes that meeting leads to change.
I hope to hear that we're getting more measures put in place. We have a lot of precautions already in place for sports events, but not enough were taken in this particular instance.
And that meeting, which was closed to the public and to the press, lasted for about 2 hours. I'm told parents expressed frustration that police weren't a part of the conversation, but provided feedback about what they'd like to see the district do moving forward. We're in Phoenix. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. We have some new developments tonight in our ongoing coverage of teen violence. One of the teens who has been implicated in several incidents in the East Valley has been sentenced today. 19-year-old Kyler Renner pled guilty in 2 separate cases. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 3 years of probation. One of those cases involved drug charges, while the other was an assault at a downtown Gilbert parking garage.
As many as 20 mail-in ballots were damaged after a mailbox was set on fire at a U.S. Postal Service location in Phoenix. Happened near 7th Avenue and Indian School. But police are saying this was not politically motivated. The suspect in the case is 35-year-old Dieter Klofkorn. He was arrested. Phoenix police say he admitted to starting the fire only because, quote, he wanted to get arrested. And again, police are assuring this fire was not politically motivated.
There was some concern that this was politically motivated or related to the election. We were assured by the suspect this wasn't. He didn't know what was inside the mailbox. He didn't know if there was ballots or any kind of election elements in there.
So some of these ballots were destroyed, and officials are encouraging all voters who may have used that mailbox, again, 7th Avenue and Indian School, in the last 36 hours to check the status of their ballots at beballotready.vote.
New at 10, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris remain neck and neck in the polls, but political prediction markets are forecasting different odds. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in studio with how election betting is gaining momentum in the weeks leading up to the election day. Gabby?
Well, Caribe, as of this month, Americans can now legally bet on political elections. It's become a popular topic on social media, but when I asked voters if they'd ever wager money on who's going to make it to the White House, they all said no.
I don't think I would bet on an election. It seems like it's not really right.
I don't gamble, number one, and it seems to undermine our democratic process.
Millions of dollars are being poured into political prediction markets, trading platforms where bets are placed on the outcome of the upcoming United States presidential election, among other popular races.
It's like the stock market. You know, as a candidate becomes more popular, the price on them will increase.
As of Thursday night, the odds are 61-39 in favor of former President Donald Trump winning over Vice President Kamala Harris, according to Kalshi. Those odds tell a different story than most election polls that have Trump and Harris in a dead heat.
If you look at sort of the average of polls that are coming out, whether it be in the swing states or sort of at a national level, a lot of the little leads that are given either to Harris +1, 2 point here, to Trump 1 + 2 point there, all really fall within the margin of error in a lot of these samples, right? So we don't really know if it's swinging one way or another.
Voters I spoke with had different opinions on whether predictive markets or polls are a more accurate representation of what will happen on Election Day.
Money talks more than words.
It's hard to really tell what's the truth. I would look at both. I would use both. I wouldn't just go with one or the other.
Analysts tell me you can't really compare the two. Ulrich Jensen, an associate professor at Arizona State University, says prediction markets tend to be more volatile, often changing based on current events, whereas polls offer more stability. Most voters in blue and red states already know who they're going to vote for. It's the swing states that will likely decide the outcome.
Certainly, if you look at the polls, I think we will be anticipating a closer election than the betting market is assuming right now.
Gaming analyst Stephen Bittenbender says history shows the market also becomes more fluid the closer election day gets.
It wouldn't surprise me if we have that same kind of volatility on election night, or on the days leading into the election.
So while political prediction markets are becoming a popular way to forecast upcoming elections, experts say it's important for voters to look at the entire picture.
I would look at it as another piece of information as people are educating themselves on the election, what might happen. But at the end of the day, no one has a crystal ball, and neither does the odds makers.
And experts strongly encourage people who are considering putting money on the election to start small and only wager the amount that you're willing to lose. In studio, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right. Sounds like it could get interesting, Gabby. Thank you. Meanwhile, the race for the White House continues to heat up in battleground Arizona. Former President Trump was in Tempe today for a rally at ASU. He spent much of the rally talking about immigration at the southern border, saying that he would dramatically increase border security within his first 100 days being in office. He also said that he would conduct the largest deportation effort in U.S. history and have stiff punishments for people who try to re-enter the U.S.
And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
This was former President Donald Trump's second rally in Arizona in less than 2 weeks. He is set to return on Halloween for an event with Tucker Carlson in Glendale.
On the same day Donald Trump was in Arizona, President Biden arrived here earlier this evening. He's spending the night here in the Valley. He's heading to the Gila River Indian community tomorrow. The president is set to apologize for 150 years of the federal Indian boarding school program. That program took Native American children away from their families in different parts of our state and put them all in a school in central Phoenix in an attempt to strip them of their culture and assimilate them more into white culture. We caught up with the governor of the Gila River Indian community tonight, who says this is a major step.
Seeing an apology from the president, that not only shows that this in fact happened, but that the U.S. government is acknowledging their part in this. These self-destruct, these terrible policies that were part of the mainstream just until recently.
We're going to have full coverage of the president's visit tomorrow right here on 12 News.
And you can get ready for Election Day by having the 12 Plus app already downloaded on your TV. 12 Plus is where we'll stream hours of live coverage of the local and the state races, plus the results and the impact that they could have on your community. Just search for 12 Plus on your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku.